I want to show you an easy way my pa taught me how to cut trusses. So the first thing to find the pitch of your trusses is you're going to take a board the size of your tail. If it's a 2x4, you use a 2x4, and we're using a 2x6, so we're going to be using 2x6. So you take the board, you put it on top of the beam, and you butt it flushly to the top of the rim. The next thing you do is you take your the next thing you do is you take your 2x6 and you set it on the top of the beam. You make it flush and you'd butt it to the rim. And then you take a level, make sure it's flush, do the thing, and then you mark your line and you'll have a perfect angle. To find the length of your truss, measure from the top of the beam on the outside part, and you measure to the top of your rim joist, and then you have the length of your truss. And then you cut out your beam, and some people like to cut out this part, but we're gonna keep it, and we made a reverse pitch so that it's level if somebody in the future wants to install a soffit. We also don't cut this because sometimes it cracks and we want to install brackets. Looks like a saddle and it sits on the beam. That's why we call it cowboy style. So as you can see, it sits on the beam and it's flushly butted to the beam, and there's no gaps, and there's also no seams or gaps on that part of the trusses too. So this is where the fascia goes, and this is where the soffit goes if somebody wants to install it. And if you don't want these to crack for sure, and you want to be extra careful or whatever, you can put a hanger right here. Since we're working with very crooked lumber, we have to be very cautious how we cut and stuff, and watch out for cracks and knots like these, because if you cut on the knot, it can crack very easily, so we try to skip out on it. We made one template, so it's easy. We just trace it out and cut it and put it on, but sometimes a template doesn't always work because our beams are crooked, so at some point you might have to make a new template or do them all separately because the angles might change. So now I'm going to mark them, and you don't want to go straight like this because then it won't line up. Yeah, it won't line up. So you go at an angle like this and you push it down. So the cut is finished, and you see that right there? It's overcut. That's not good. So try not to let that happen. And when you're finished with your cut, finish it off using the Sawzall. So you see this right here? You see these marks, those bumps sticking up? You could chisel it off, but I think it's a pretty good cut. Sometimes they're shaped like a banana, you could say. So, and the hump, you know, the banana is shaped like this. The hump has to be pointing up where it rounds up. It has to be pointing up towards the sky. So I just put an arrow which way my lumber should be facing up. Now that we got all the trusses cut for this section, I'm going to show you how we screw it to the thing. So first we pre-drill it because we don't want the screws cracking the wood, and then we screwed it on this side. Not all the way. Yeah, not all the way. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side, just between these. And then we nail metal brackets on the beam and on the rim joist. Okay, come here. Excuse me, chickens. You're happy.